All right, it's 7 o'clock, guys.
This is 7 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order with the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome, everyone. It's on video, and our video man is here. And we want to welcome Veronica. Let's show Veronica, our new clerk. When you call Veronica on the phone, that's who you will talk to. That's who you'll be talking to.
We don't even have her nameplate yet.
And since we've introduced her, we're going to have her do the roll call.
All right. Mark Folks.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
Veronica Howard. Yes. Troy Farmley.
Here.
Okay, and you did a good job on this agenda. You prepared it and handed it to us a day early. Thank you. So, any additions or corrections, anybody?
Name
Yes.
tags for planning commission.
Name tags for planning commission. Gosh, I wish I knew that yesterday. She ordered name tags for her in the new.
You knew it at the
I did know it
planning commission
tonight.
meeting.
Okay, do you want to add that for new business? How about you report that on your planning commission?
No, it's an act. Well, we can add it into business.
Name tags. Okay.
Also, we gotta get some bids for the furnaces and air conditioning. We're gonna save money in the long run by spending that extra money on the
Well,
furnaces.
we've got something on
Oh,
here
yeah,
about the
we
ARPA
are,
funds
we are.
anyway.
And we're going to talk about that a little later.
We got something on here about the ARPA funds.
You want to just add what's under the HVAC bids at the end then?
Yeah, that'd be fine,
New business,
yeah.
and what'd you call it?
Bids
HVAC.
for air conditioning and furnaces.
HVAC bids, HVAC bids, okay, bids. For all.
Motion to approve the agenda is amended.
Mark has made the motion, seconded by Butch. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, October 30th, meeting minutes. Oh, that's right, the day before, Halloween. We made it through Halloween and Turkey Day, and now here we are in the middle of Christmas.
Should make a motion to approve the October 30th minutes as presented.
Troy,
Second.
seconded by Butch. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Troy, I-69 informal meeting.
Okay, so this is the second of our required I-69 Next Michigan Development Corporation Local Development Finance Authority information meeting. Say that 10 times.
Okay.
7:03.
Okay.
So this is to provide the biannual update on the status of the LDFA district. There has been no activity in the district this year. We can continue to accrue the funds though, and the plan will be when we are able to do the water loop, those funds will be used for that. As of right now, the unencumbered fund balance is $55,171. Then there'll be another just shy of $10,000 that'll come in later this month from tax rate.
Okay.
Is there any questions from the public on the I-69 LDFA?
I hear none.
I hear none, I see none.
That being said,
7:04.
close it at 7:04. Okay, that was easy. Check. Public comment, none. Okay. Sheriff's report. Troy.
All right, well, we have two because we didn't have October's when we met last. So for the month of October, there were 144 calls for service. 43 of them were traffic stops. For the month of November, there were 124 calls for service, and 31 of those were traffic stops. I see we had a parking violation too. You don't see that on there very often.
No, parking violation, probably. It's like the car running somewhere.
So anyway,
Okay. All right. Sheriff's report, okay. Mark, Cecil?
We had, I guess the most trying thing we had at the meeting was they're thinking about, and we probably will do this as a running change, of changing the logo and the lettering on the trucks as we replace a truck or it gets damaged, or we replace patches, next time we buy patches for uniforms and stuff. so that it's predominantly CESA and maybe minorly Perry Fire. But right now, it's predominantly Perry Fire and not CESA, which kind of leaves out all the rest of the people that are part of it.
This was something I had actually pushed the chief, and I opened this can of worms some. But, 20 years ago when it was incorporated, it was specifically aimed to not have the name Perry in it. Because this was viewed as, eventually was gonna cover a lot of the county, and it currently does. But, and the plan at that time was, as things were, we would move to that name. And I think in some extents it's gone backwards because everything, you would guess our name is the Perry Area Fire Department looking at everything. And so since we're covering Durand and Byron and everything else, we should have our name, which is Southwest Shiawassee Emergency Service Alliance, and I think we're probably gonna look at changing it to Southern Shiawassee.
Well, we talked about that at that meeting Monday night.
Southern, that makes sense.
One of the things.
Because we really cover more southeast than we do southwest.
The initials would stay the same if all we
Correct.
did was put the initials on the truck. And we could put CESA serving Southern Shiawassee County on the truck.
Right. No, our initials are fine.
That'd be good, yeah.
We have to find out what it's gonna cost us to change
Oh,
the
it's
name.
just a pain, it's a ton of stuff.
So,
But anyway, that's, over time, you should start seeing things say, CESA on it instead of Perry Area Fire.
just in case somebody sees it and asks you why that's that way, that's why it's that way. It's just,
And that's been the name for 20 years, it just
Has it,
hasn't been
yeah.
followed.
Before that, it was called,
Before that, it was
Perry
Perry
Area
Area Fire Department, but it was incorporated as an authority in 2004,
okay.
so.
All right, there's a background history of that. Sure. All right, anything else, Mark?
no, not really.
No, not really, everything's okay? DDA, of course, we didn't meet, we meet in January. What day is, we meet on Wednesday at 6:30, January
It's third Wednesday, 15th.
15th, 2025. That will be our, we have submitted the paperwork and the check, $25,000 for the lighting on Bitter Drive, and they're on order. Gabriel made that happen last week, I believe, and so we're on track for that. Everybody's happy. I sent a little communication out to the DDA board. They were happy. Zoning, I didn't get anything. We've had some zoning issues we've been dealing with, Troy, and we're working on some
We have
Issues.
a violation on Britton Road near the trailer park.
that we're working on. But we did get a solution on
Oh,
Thorn Apple Drive, the dirt road, the fence is gone, the poles are out, we had to go meet before the magistrate, and he clearly said, I've been there, yeah, it's unsafe, but people can't walk, can't drive, it's just unsafe, and it has to come out. He was very emphatic, and that day, the gentleman that put it up took it out, and so it's all done. So that's a completed one.
Sure. Completed one, 5 more popped up.
All right, so that's that. That's it for zoning, huh?
Yeah, I didn't see a file.
Okay,
so.
okay. Commissioner is not here. Okay, library, Mark.
Okay, the new stuff at the library, they've added some new services. There's a digital service called Canopy that is a video streaming service
It's a
and
video what?
streaming service.
Streaming.
And
Cleaning.
patrons can select movies, documentaries, children's
Oh,
books
good.
using their library card.
Good.
Then there's a new catalog called BiblioCore, and that replaces the enterprise catalog, and there's a bunch of new enhancements to it and stuff. And then a novel effect app has been added to the library. This enhances, anytime they're reading a story, it provides sound effects and things like that for the story,
Oh,
so.
that's cool.
And their reading is, that the stuff they do in there is pretty popular, so. The timeline on the new Burns Township building, which is gonna have the library in it, puts the library being completed supposedly sometime next fall. And there's a lot of holiday happenings. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that stuff.
Okay.
But you can call the library if you want to go see Mrs. Claus or Santa or anything, so.
Oh. Back to Troy on I-69,
Our meeting is actually next week.
Tuesday, right?
Yep.
SCDP, Mark.
Annual meeting date, 2/3 of 25.
You say 2/3
Uh-huh,
of 25.
uh-huh.
Okay.
And that's where, you know, pretty basically, if you're a member, you can go. We, of course, have a new person, Alexis McDowell. She's from Byron. Her family owns the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
They own the little market as you're coming into town at the tracks.
Yeah.
And then they own a farm down toward Cohocton. And she has a degree in this kind of stuff.
What's Alex's last name?
McDowell.
McDowell.
And she's going to be our investor relations person. It's
Okay.
going to be her primary function.
Okay.
So you could hear from her. She could show up down here at the Township Hall. The land bank was just Monday. We had, there's a new service, year-old something called Great Lakes Housing Services, and they help get grants. They help you make your grants work and things like that in different operations within the specter. We're working on that Michigan Neighborhood Grant, which they're also going to help us with, and that's the one that's going to provide money for replacing a furnace or something for somebody that's in need. The Lennon property is, the paperwork seems all in order now, and it looks like we've got some interested developers for that property, and so it looks like we're going to put that out for a bid. And we got 6 or 7 pieces of property left. 2 of them are probably, one of them's a 150 by 300 piece in the middle of a farmyard. Obviously, that guy's going to want it.
Oh, yeah.
We almost give it to him, you know. But that's, there's a couple that are 3 foot by 150 foot. You know, we're just gonna kind of strong arm somebody into taking it and adding it to their property description so that doesn't happen anymore. But
Sure.
that's land bank and brownfield. We approved a brownfield TIF deal kind of thing for a subdivision called Creek Point in Durand that right now it only goes halfway around, sort of like Perry Lakes did for a long time, and now this will complete it going around, and it'll add, I forget, 30 lots or something. There's already people that want them.
Oh, good.
It's a
A lot of them do
brownfield?
Well, it's a brownfield, development brownfield. It's not a
Hasn't been a
polluted, it's not a polluted.
Hasn't been.
There's other things with brownfield you can do that.
So it could be a tip for
Yeah, I think it's a
financing the
TIF,
improvements.
Yeah. So, they're gonna all be rentals, and then after 20 years, they can be sold. It's,
Yeah, okay.
I'm still learning a lot about that kind of stuff.
There's your planning commission minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't.
That's okay.
We had a long meeting at the planning commission, didn't you?
Yeah, well.
You had someone from Rowe come, right?
Yeah, somebody from Rowe came and she talked about what they could do for us if we decided to take on our own zoning.
By the hour.
Yeah,
By the hour.
obviously we'd have to do a whole lot more looking, pricing and whatever. Amy Barton was her name. We have something later on our agenda,
Yeah, right.
And most of it was just discussion about things that are going on that affect townships, like, this gravel thing that you're trying to take to the state level for zoning approval instead of locally and those kind of things, so. There really wasn't anything. I did notice that there's a book.
Yes, there's a new book, and Beth asked me if we could order, and I ordered one today.
Okay, yeah, that's, yeah, it sounded like it would be something that.
Yeah, unlocking the zoning code or something like that.
Something like that,
It's
yep.
a brand, MTA sent us an email, yeah, I ordered it.
Okay.
About 40, 50 bucks. Yeah, it's 45 bucks. Okay, Mark. Anything else on that? Or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you're good on that. Okay. All right, Troy, financial report and pay the bills.
All right, you've got your bills list in front of you. Now, we went 6 weeks between meetings here, so, because we were early, so we got a long bills list this month. Had all of our election bills on there, and then, of course, you're gonna see some duplicates, like a couple, Argus Press bills, couple waste management bills. Just ones that, since we met so early last month on there. We did have our, let's see, this would be our 4th revenue sharing check of the fiscal year.
Okay.
It was $61,964. So there's still one to come in January and then one to come in March for the fiscal year there. So yeah, we're at 66%, which is right where we should be.
So, okay, so far. So
And that's where we are in the fiscal year. So we're 2/3 of the way through there. Are there any questions on the bills?
No.
Pay the bills.
Mark recommends pay the bills.
Second.
Butch seconded. Roll call vote. Veronica.
Mark Foltz,
Yes.
Mark Frazier,
Yes.
Francis Griffith,
Yes.
Veronica Howard, yes, Troy Farmland.
Yes.
Okay. Any correspondence?
I just saw that, we had that one that, from Daystar.
Yes, we did.
What was the long and short? I'm skimming it here.
You talking about this?
Oh, yeah, just,
Letter of support.
Letter of support, we did that too.
yeah, but, and then talking about, food drive they're doing for the Rise Up Shiawassee campaign
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
just, they're joining forces with the rest of the people. And then I had communication from Melissa Slockin's office, and we had a Zoom call today from 9:30 to about 10:30, giving an update on the fact that she's not in Lansing, she's in Washington D.C. now, and taking Deb Stavenow's duties, obviously, and she's in a cubbyhole of the new people that got in for Senate or representative, but Senate, are in a cubbyhole waiting for their offices to be vacated. They vacated their offices already where they were at the House, and so like that. And anyway, she's in a little area waiting to go through a
So
lottery.
what's the bottom line?
Go through a lottery to find out where she's going to be. So she has a phone number, and that's it. There's no email. Everything's cut off.
So Mark, what's that have to do with the water money?
That's a good question. The water money, there was 68 people there, and they all discussed different things, and I was the last guy to raise my hand. You have to do it on Zoom, you put your hand up. And so Mark has a comment or a question. So I asked about the water loop, and they've shaken their hand, knew about it, and she was right there looking at me, and I said, we appreciate the fact that all the work you can do on that, and if you'll pass it on, who you need to pass it on. And she feels that'll be, the funds should come in February. She thinks everything's still on track. She's going to bring Tom Barrett up to date on it, so when he takes over, I have his phone number, I have her number if I need to call, and then her chief of staff. So that's what that.
So basically,
that's
it's
what
falling into Tom Barrett's lap.
we think so.
Well, so Congress hasn't passed a budget,
It's
right?
gonna
I
be
mean,
right, yeah.
and in the current CR ends sometime this month, and the working theory of the talking heads is they're gonna just do another continuing resolution, which, and they may keep doing that, right? And so there's not gonna be any earmarks done until they actually pass the budget.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, now you're gonna change presidents, we're changing the Senate, I mean,
But what she
who
did,
knows what could
but
happen.
what she did say is infrastructure is very important to both Republicans and Democrats.
I know of no reason Barrett would want to pull this project.
No.
You know, so, I mean, yes, I would think this would have as good a shot as anything of staying in.
So that was that. And is there anything else?
Elon Musk may have to endorse it.
Elon, oh my, okay. There you go. All right. Second public comments, any announcements, anything we have? No announcements? Oh, yeah, well, our next meeting will be not the 1st of January next year, it'll be the 8th of January next year.
We're a week late.
We're going to be a week late on that meeting. Unfinished ARPA, Troy, ARPA funds.
Okay, so we talked last month about the ARPA funds.
Yeah.
And so we have to allocate the ARPA funds. We don't have to spend them, but they have to be allocated by December 31st. And I said the wrong dollar amount last month. I said there was $20,103, and that is what we have in the ARPA fund. But remember, the bathroom remodel, we were going to use some of the ARPA funds for that, so we've used 9,000 of that, even though it hasn't been transferred.
Okay. So how much? 11?
$10,415 or so. So we had made the motion to allocate it, towards upgrading our HVAC system. Well, 2 days ago, I got an email from the Department of Treasury saying that simply making a motion to allocate it is not acceptable in the eyes of government. That we have to, by December 31st, have a
Signed document.
signed purchase agreement or contract or something. We'll still proceed with the plans to upgrade the HVAC, but what I'm thinking is we could simply allocate what's left for roads, and then that frees up money that we would normally have in roads for the HVAC, right? I mean, it all works the same, but I mean, they made it very clear in that simply making a motion to allocate it was not going to be acceptable.
Okay.
And that came out 2 days ago.
And Troy and I talked to Chris Cannon, he has the numbers, they've been extended, we're not gonna have any inflationary numbers ever for asphalt, for this.
So basically,
This next week, we should have a quote that we can have signed.
Smack it, Troy.
That we can have signed, right?
right, so the plan, the road commission's plan that we've understood is that, the Morris Road project would take place this year, and that is a go. They have signed the agreement, so they are doing Morris Road from Grand River Road down to the county line, so through
So we
us.
can get the signed agreement from them.
Correct, and so as our plan has been all along is to do the roads that touch, and so what, the contractor's done a bid extension. So they have extended last year's asphalt price and last year's seal coat price, which I think is interesting. Probably means they think it's coming down, right?
Maybe.
But I mean, so basically he has firm prices for all of that. And that contractor is willing to, any roads that touch, to use the same price, which gets us, a good deal.
Yeah, and a couple of.
So our plan all along has been to do Ellsworth Road here, Church Road, the little piece of Church Road off Morris Road, and then a little piece of Braden Road, down there. Now, we'll have to see what it all comes into, but of course, we've been putting money in the road fund every year, and I would imagine that will be our big chunk of we probably won't do a gravel project next year or so. But anyway, so that was good news from Chris. So what I was going to suggest is that since we have to have something in place by December 31st, is that we allocate that 10,000 left for that, so we're covered.
I'll
I'll second that
do it.
motion.
Did you understand that motion?
I got the second.
Okay. So the motion would be to
Use
allocate
ARPA.
the $10,415 of our remaining ARPA funds
ARPA
To the
balance.
roads.
to the roads,
Yep.
to the Ellsworth Road paving project, put that on,
To Township Road,
to the Ellsworth Road.
Ellsworth.
probably better do a roll call on that.
Yeah, okay. All right, Butch seconded it?
Yep.
No, I second
Oh, Troy made the motion.
it, correct.
Butch Mark seconded. All right, roll call vote. Veronica?
All right, we will do Veronica Howard, yes. Troy Parmalee?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
I mixed that up, I'm so sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Francis Griffith
Yes,
and Mark Foltz.
Yes. That'll solve that problem, at least get it earmarked. Plus, like Troy and I talked to, when we get the money on the trucks, we'll have extra money for HVAC.
We had in buildings and grounds capital outlay, we had money budgeted, you know, for that. I mean, the bathroom was less than we had, I mean, we anticipated the bathroom to be around 20, and it was only 9,600, so we've got plenty of cushion.
There's been lots of compliments on the bathroom.
Oh, absolutely.
People have been here for
Much
meetings.
better than it was.
Absolutely.
We'll see how it does going through the winter, you know, because I mean, we always seem to have drywall that cracks in here.
Hopefully not. Okay. Well, new business, and we're starting with the talk of the town, the appointment of a Freedom of Information Coordinator, FOIA. Freedom of Information Act Coordinator.
So Kelly was our FOIA.
Kelly, our
coordinator.
clerk, was our FOIA, and access to all the information, which I don't have, Butch don't have. Right.
Well, the FOIA coordinator coordinates it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you know, if someone FOIAs something that you have to, you know, help provide it, right?
Sure, we
Now,
all do.
90% of our FOIAs are stuff to do with,
Elections, et cetera.
well, we have a lot on elections or they're on properties.
Properties, yeah.
So I guess Veronica and I were just talking, I mean,
A mutual?
yes, I think so.
Okay. well,
I mean, the fact of
shared-
it, that's how Kelly and I did it anyway.
Well, that's,
I mean,
let's
we
have a
all-
shared coordinator, right? Does that sound good?
Well, yes,
Do we have to appoint?
I think we do. We would name, I guess I would name Veronica, but I will assist her on all of these. Does that seem reasonable?
You'll be
That's
here all.
perfect.
And I'll make that
Well, I think we
motion.
have to name someone, but
I'll make the motion.
I always helped Kelly with it.
Veronica
I mean,
as
we all work together here, so.
Right.
Get it out, Mark. Veronica as our FOIA coordinator for the Township of Perry Township. Butch seconded that motion, okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye, I heard 4 ayes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, okay.
But yes. No, it's, you know, I mean, there's, you know, when you get vague stuff, you've gotta.
It goes
you
in
know,
spurts from, you know, maybe 3 or 4 months.
We don't get very many.
Drains at large.
Oh, yeah. No, we need to do it. So anyway, we have our annual drains at large for our portion of the drain work done in the township. We were a light year this year, which is $2,275.89. It was on the Bennett drain, the Hasford drain, the Lock drain, and the Williamston Lock and Perry drain. So I will make a motion, we approve paying the drains at large.
Second.
And Mark will second. Roll call vote.
Is Mark Foltz?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Francis Griffith?
yes.
Veronica Howard, yes. Troy Parmalee?
Checks right here. Yes.
Okay, and as we talk, she's going to sign the check right now. That's good time, guys. Winter 2024 border review date and time. It is coming up. Border review is the 10th of December at 9 a.m. right here at the hall. It's just for any changes or errors, or I think we have 3 or 4 to discuss. And then tomorrow at 6 here at the township, we have my board is going to be here, I'm going to be here, and the board's going to be here, and we're doing a Zoom thing for a couple hours here at our conference room.
Boy, you're really getting into that Zoom thing.
On border review, yeah, really. Troy's got me set up with, I got 4 of them out there.
I didn't set up, I pulled them out of the cabinet and said, plug them in and do it. And you probably made Veronica do it.
Help set me up. We got them, we're ready to go. We're zooming up. That's that, check. Township permit letter to zoning office. Mark, you want to speak to the planning commission suggestion?
Okay,
Okay.
there is a question about whether there was a final issued on Slocum's storage units,
Yeah.
and he's open, he's got big banners, he's doing it all online,
Right.
which I don't care, that's up to him, he can do whatever way he wants, but, and so we came to this conclusion that the township never gets notified when there's a change in status of a building project.
Right.
If, in other words, if Preston gave Slocum's some kind of special dispensation because it was too late to pave or whatever it would be, he should have notified us. Because you need to know as the treasurer, the assessor needs to know when the status changes on a property, whatever. So I talked to Brian Boggs about this Monday, and he said, I have no problem at all hammering at him about this. You guys want to write a letter to us? So we felt it was probably the township board's position to have to write that letter.
To Pete and copy her Brian. So what?
And Greg,
And Greg,
Yeah.
chairman of the board.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so basically a letter saying that we would like in the monthly zoning report, you know, a status report when
There's been a change.
there's been a change.
Yeah, Beth Anderson made a motion to ask Township Board to send a letter to Pete Press and Dr. Boggs stating the township be informed on status updates on permits, any outstanding permits, seconded by Larry Place. It was all approved, all A's, all approved.
And we also, in that letter, we wanted to specifically know the Slocum.
Oh, okay.
You know, is there a final on Slocum?
Yeah, okay, that's right, because they kept asking, the last two meetings they'd asked in the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got big banners saying now open, so. And if there is a status, all he's got to do is just say so.
They didn't even send us, we don't have this month's packet yet.
They're tearing their office up. I talked to Nick.
I don't care what
I
they're doing.
know, but they
They
don't.
got a job to do and they
I'm
need to
hearing
do
all
it.
this hammering, what's going on? It's all they're tearing off, well, everything's all, whatever they're doing, and Troy says it's right down the hall from SEDP,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it is.
And so,
You'd think these people are all on different planets and they don't walk across the hall.
and Nick said he don't have a car, Pete's gonna give him a car, but he thinks he's got a car, and he's gonna give his a car, so he can go do his inspection. They haven't been doing the inspections.
We have a potentially serious situation with a violation on Brennan Road.
Yep, yep.
And, this involves, this is serious stuff. I mean, involves a
Issues.
registered sex offender and
Oh, yeah.
there's some complicated stuff there. And I sent an email to community development, to the health department, to the road commission, and who else did I send it to? I think that was, and I copied Mark and Veronica on it. But I mean, just outlining it, and I've heard back from the road commission and the health department.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, this person has set up a house trailer, you know, which is not allowed outside of a mobile home per park.
A single wide, not a double wide, a single.
Well, it doesn't matter how many wide it is, you can't just pull a house trailer in
Right.
and set up shop.
But you could get a permit and put a double up, you can't do
No,
a
you
single.
can, not a mobile, you could, if it is on a foundation,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can put a modular in.
you could put a
Yeah,
modular, but not a mobile
Not a
home.
single one, no.
If it has wheels on it, it's a
Right.
no-go.
Well, I understand that,
So,
but the double wides are.
but anyway, I mean, we've had neighbors coming and complaining about it, I mean, and I'm very concerned they're gonna blow this one. And,
Well, we should have notified Boggs on that.
we did, we talked to him last night.
Talk to them last
Okay.
week.
Okay.
But in fairness, Dr. Boggs doesn't need, he's not the, he's the county administrator, but he doesn't, I guess we just bother him every time, so he gets so tired of it when we tell him every time Pete doesn't do what he's supposed to do, but,
Well,
you know.
the thing is, the county attorney could end up getting involved in this,
Well, sure.
you know, and
And the sheriff.
I mean, the state police could get involved in this one, but this is serious stuff, what's going on there.
Okay, so anyway, we some issues.
so
Okay.
anyway, so if we could get that letter, that would be very good.
Okay,
And then board review members training.
We already talked about that.
We talked about that, we're done with that. New HVAC bids for the hall. We should get at least, what, 3 bids?
Is that something, Butch, would you be willing to work on that?
It
help
don't
with
matter, I can, I want to-
Maybe you and Butch, here, you and Mark work on that? I mean, I guess what I would phrase it, maybe instead of bids is a request for proposals.
We can.
You know, so we're
We
not,
can do an
so
RFP.
we can
Yeah.
do that. but
And
I-
really, now's a good time because, you know,
Yeah.
when it warms up, I mean, it'd be nice to get it done before then.
Yeah, no, if you guys could work on that, that'd be great.
All right. Anything else from the board?
We got
Yeah.
the name tags for the planning commission.
I think somebody just needs to go in there and see what tags we got, what we need to have.
Name tags.
It isn't,
She had you ordered yours right off the same as, they fit right in the,
right,
Yeah,
that's all we gotta do.
they're
is
standard.
whose names do we need? Whose names do we need?
I don't know.
Oh.
So we need to see which ones we have in there.
All
I
right.
mean, we probably haven't updated them.
Sure.
Well, we haven't updated them since I've been on the planning commission.
Okay.
You don't have one?
Well, I think we're just figuring to use the one I have there, and I never know where they're at. so-
Well, then probably we are allowed to.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah, I mean, that's under, we don't need a motion for that, that's under.
Veronica and I'll work on that Tuesday.
Okay. They're sitting all up on the map cabinet in there. Okay.
Okay. All right. No more public comments, going 3 times? Okay, Gap, be quiet. Okay. What time is it, Troy?
Motion to
What
adjourn,
time is it, Troy? 7?
7:37. Wow.
That's my daughter.